Day 73, read the Bible in a year. Deuteronomy 8, 9, and 10. Deuteronomy 8. You shall observe all the commandments which I command you today, that you may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which the Lord swore to your fathers. You shall remember all the ways which the Lord your God led you these 40 years in the wilderness, that he might humble you, to test you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. He humbled you, allowed you to be hungry, and fed you with manna, which you didn't know, neither did your fathers know, that he might teach you that man does not live by bread alone, but man lives by every word that proceeds out of the Lord's mouth. Your clothing didn't grow old on you, neither did your foot swell. These 40 years you shall consider in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, so the Lord your God disciplines you. You shall keep the commandments of the Lord your God, to walk in his ways and fear him. For the Lord your God brings you into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of springs, of underground water flowing into valleys and hills, a land of wheat, barley, vines, fig trees, and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, a land in which you shall eat bread without scarcity. You shall not lack anything in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you may dig copper. You shall eat and be full, and you shall bless the Lord your God for the good land which he has given you. Beware that you don't forget the Lord your God in keeping his commandments, his ordinances, and his statutes, which I command you today. Or else, when you have eaten and are full, and have built fine houses, and lived in them, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and your gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart might be lifted up, and you forget the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, who led you through the great and terrible wilderness with venomous snakes and scorpions and thirsty ground, where there was no water, who poured water for you out of the rock of flint, who fed you in the wilderness with manna, which your fathers didn't know, that he might humble you, and that he might prove you to do you good at your latter end, and lest you say in your heart, my power and the might of my hand has gotten me this wealth. But you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he swore to your fathers, as it is today. It shall be, if you shall forget the Lord your God, and walk after other gods, and serve them and worship them, I testify against you today that you shall surely perish. As the nations that the Lord makes to perish before you, so you shall perish, because you wouldn't listen to the Lord your God's voice.
Deuteronomy chapter 9. Hear, Israel, you are to pass over the Jordan today, to go in to dispossess nations greater and mightier than yourself, cities great and fortified up to the sky, a people great and tall, the sons of the Anakim, whom you know, and of whom you have heard say, who can stand before the sons of Anak? Know therefore today that the Lord your God is he who goes over before you as a devouring fire. He will destroy them, and he will bring them down before you, so you shall drive them out and make them perish quickly, as the Lord has spoken to you. Don't say in your heart, after the Lord your God has thrust them out from before you, for my righteousness the Lord has brought me in to possess this land? Because the Lord drives them out before you because of the wickedness of these nations, not for your righteousness or for your uprightness of heart do you go in to possess the land, but for the wickedness of these nations the Lord your God does drive them out from before you, and that he may establish the word which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Know therefore that the Lord your God doesn't give you this good land to possess for your righteousness, for you are a stiff-necked people. Remember, and don't forget, how you provoked the Lord your God to wrath in the wilderness. From the day that you left the land of Egypt until you came to this place, you have been rebellious against the Lord. Also, in Horeb you provoked the Lord to wrath, and the Lord was angry with you to destroy you. When I had gone up onto the mountain to receive the stone tablets, even the tablets of the covenant which the Lord made with you, then I stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. I neither ate bread nor drank water. The Lord delivered to me the 2 stone tablets written with God's finger. On them were all the words which the Lord spoke with you on the mountain out of the middle of the fire in the day of the assembly. It came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that the Lord gave me the 2 stone tablets, even the tablets of the covenant. The Lord said to me, Arise, get down quickly from here, for your people, whom you have brought out of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have quickly turned away from the way which I commanded them. They have made a molten image for themselves. Furthermore, the Lord spoke to me, saying, I have seen these people, and behold, they are a stiff-necked people. Leave me alone that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under the sky, and I will make you a nation mightier than and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mountain, and the mountain was burning with fire. The 2 stone tablets of the covenant were in my 2 hands. I looked, and behold, you had sinned against the Lord your God. You had made yourselves a molded calf. You had quickly turned away from the way which the Lord had commanded you. I took hold of the 2 tablets and threw them out of my 2 hands and broke them before your eyes. I fell down before the Lord, as at the first 40 days and 40 nights. I neither ate bread nor drank water, because all your sin which you sinned, in doing that which was evil in the Lord's sight, to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure with which the Lord was angry against you to destroy you. But the Lord listens to me. That time also, the Lord was angry enough with Aaron to destroy him. I prayed for Aaron also at the same time. I took your sin, the calf which you had made, and burnt it with fire and crushed it, grinding it very small until it was as fine as dust. I threw its dust into the brook that descended out of the mountain, at Taberah, at Massa, and at Kibroth Hattaavah. You provoked the Lord to wrath, when the Lord sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and possess the land which I have given you. You rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God, and you didn't believe him or listen to his voice. You have been rebellious against the Lord from the day that I knew you. So I fell down before the Lord for the 40 days and 40 nights that I fell down, because the Lord had said he would destroy you. I prayed to the Lord and said, Lord God, don't destroy your people and your inheritance that you have redeemed through your greatness, that you have brought out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Don't look at the stubbornness of this people, nor at their wickedness, nor at their sin, lest the land you brought us out from say, because the Lord was not able to bring them into the land which he promised them. And because he hated them, he has brought them out to kill them in the wilderness. Yet they are your people and your inheritance, which you brought out by your great power and by your outstretched arm.
Deuteronomy 10. At that time, the Lord said to me, Cut 2 stone tablets like the first, and come up to me onto the mountain and make an ark of wood. I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets which you broke, and you shall put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood and cut 2 stone tablets like the first, and went up onto the mountain, having the 2 tablets in my hand. He wrote on the tablets according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which the Lord spoke to you on the mountain out of the middle of the fire in the day of the assembly, and the Lord gave them to me. I turned and came down from the mountain and put the tablets in the ark which I had made, and there they are as the Lord commanded me. The children of Israel traveled from Beroth Beni Jaakan to Moserah. There Aaron died, and there he was buried, and Eleazar his son ministered in the priest's office in his place. From there they traveled to Gudgodah, and from Gudgodah to Jotbathah, a land of brooks of water. At that time the Lord set apart the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the Lord's covenant, to stand before the Lord, to minister to him, and to bless in his name. To this day, therefore, Levi has no portion nor inheritance with his brothers. The Lord is his inheritance, according to the Lord your God spoke to him. I stayed on the mountain, as at the first time, 40 days and 40 nights, and the Lord listened to me that time also. The Lord would not destroy you. The Lord said to me, Arise, take your journey before the people, and they shall go in and possess the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Now, Israel, what does the Lord your God require of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, and to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, to keep the Lord's commandments and statutes, which I command you today for your good? Behold, to the Lord your God belongs heaven, the heaven of heavens, and the earth, with all that is therein. Only the Lord had a delight in your fathers to love them, and he chose their offspring after them, even you above all peoples, as it is today. Circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For the Lord your God, he is God of gods and Lord of lords, the great God, the mighty and the awesome, who doesn't respect persons or take bribes. He executes justice for the fatherless and widow, and loves the foreigner in giving him food and clothing. Therefore, love the foreigner, for you were foreigners in the land of Egypt. You shall fear the Lord your God. You shall serve him. You shall cling to him, and you shall swear by his name. He is your praise, and he is your God, who has done for you these great and awesome things, which your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down into Egypt with 70 people, and now the Lord your God has made you as the stars of the sky for multitude.
Wow, I love that. God is reminding people, through Moses, of course, that it's not about them. It's all about God. You know, we can't get fat-headed or big-headed when we think our life is all about us. It revolves around how good we are. But God has a plan that supersedes anything, and God's in control.
And he talks about at the very beginning in Deuteronomy 8, he's reminding them, I gave you this. I gave you, did you have food to eat? Yes. I provided you the food. Did you have clothes to wear? Yes.
Even their shoes didn't wear out.
Even the shoes, your feet didn't swell. For 40 years, your feet didn't swell. And he says that it was him that humbled them. He disciplined them like a father disciplines his son. And he says that that's basically what he does for us today. If we start to stray, if we are complaining, if we're mumbling, if we're forgetting all the good things that he has done for us in our lives, the fact that we live in North America, we live in Canada, we are among the wealthiest people in the world per capita. When you look at the rest of the world, we have everything. I mean, we have more than what we need every single day. And he is reminding them, like he's reminding us today, that we didn't do anything to earn this. It's not us who gave ourselves our wealth, but anything that's good, we have to remember that that has come from God, and to thank him with our lives, to thank him with our hearts.
Yeah. And always remember that it's God that's doing it. It's not about us.
Yeah.
We can get in our heads think, "Oh, I'm doing this. God's doing this because I am such a good person." It's not what we do that's good. It's what God does that's good. He's got a plan that supersedes everything.
I mean, we can do good things with our life. He says to love him with all of our hearts. He says that's our requirement. But the things that we get, the material things, the
blessings,
the blessings, isn't because we've made it ourselves. Isn't because that of anything that we have done, but that he just decided, you're going to live here in North America, but that he also knows human nature, according to the Israelites at that time, and I can see that it's still the same today.
Yeah.
That we can so easily take for granted what God has given to us. The fact that we can breathe and we have life. We have, beautiful things that we can look at, trees and forests and the skies. And he says he is the creator of all those things, the heavens, the earth, everything that's beautiful and great, he created. And he says, when you get rich, when you have enough to eat, be careful that you don't forget me.
Sure. This part of the Bible sometimes is very difficult, because there's the people that were being dispossessed, they were wiped out. And people can say, well, how can it be a loving God? And God, he says, no, I'm taking them out because of their wickedness.
Right.
We got to be very, very careful, because God is a jealous God.
Yeah.
And he wants people to be devoted to him. If they're not devoted to him, they're wicked. And that's challenging.
It's very clear in these three chapters that we just read what God thinks about not following him. It's a line. I know that in our culture, our Western culture, we like to have a lot of gray areas. And that's, I think, because we have so much, we just can become prideful, like God is saying the Israelites have and were at different times.
Yeah.
And in the same way, we can start to think that all the riches, the things that we have, it's because we've somehow done it ourselves. We're smart. We have the capacity to build things, to run different economies. But he says all of that doesn't matter, because if we aren't following him, then we are wicked.
Yeah.
Wickedness and wealth aren't related. Because we're wealthy doesn't mean that we're righteous.
No, it's true.
In fact, if that becomes our focus, we actually become wicked.
And the idea that people will say, why would a loving God do something like this? Well, I think a loving God is just that. He's loving, but he says, you've chosen to walk away from me. And he's drawing a line in the sand. He says, I can't have this.
And, I guess we need to define what is wicked. What were they doing at that time? They were living apart from God. They were involved in immorality,
child sacrifice,
prostitution, drunkenness, orgies, basically these wild parties. It sounds a lot like today's society.
Yeah.
And
that's a hard teaching.
Yeah. And so that was the wickedness that he was talking about. And people want to think that it's different today, but it's not actually different today, because as we know, it's mentioned also in the New Testament. And so I think that it's very easy for us to, as humans, to justify things based on the people around us. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult, like you said before, to go against the wave, to go against the grain, to go against the stream, against a river that's coming this way, to push against that, because it means that we're going to stand out in a different way if we're trying to be righteous.
Yeah. I think of that scripture in Proverbs. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. We need to have a healthy fear and respect of God Almighty. That there is a judgment.
Yeah, and I think that these scriptures here, it's very clear. He's saying, what is the question? What do you require of us as humans? He says, love God
And
with
obey my
all of your
commands.
heart,
Yeah.
with all of your mind, with all of your soul, and with all of your strength, and obey my commandments. There's two things, acting and our heart, our desire, our focus. So there's two aspects. It's what we're doing with our lives, and it's what we're doing with our hearts and our minds. Our focus is God first. Is that the first thing in our mind of pleasing Him in our lives and the decisions that we make? Or is our job, our families, our relationships, are those first? So He's laying it out here very clearly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very powerful what He's saying.
Yeah, so true. See you again next time.